Talk about the creative industry because you're also an author, so you have the ability to wear more than one hat in the creative industry. Piracy, whether it's music, whether it's going over into literature, movies, it's killing the industry.
Definitely, definitely. Yes, I have a project that I do in universities called Arts on Campus. And then when I was going around, talking to students who are music majors or those who want to be professional artists, they would say, we understand that our CDs, CDs can just be sold for 10 rand, 5 rand in the streets. So what's the point? Why should we continue with this industry? And that's when the thought came, and I said, this is something that we have to fight. I remember President Thabo Mbeki saying that Mahlathini was the last artist to die poor. And artists still continue to die poor, and most of the time it's because of piracy. Yes.
There are so many initiatives, and before we started this formal conversation, we were talking off air about people like Cosbie Mbele who had a huge piracy campaign, and there are many other initiatives. How is your campaign and the kind of work that SADI is doing going to be different, or at least aid and help in the fight against piracy?
Yes, I can say, today we are launching this organization because even if some of the people, mentioning even Rebecca Mulupe, Lusanda, who was once even beaten, when she saw the CD in some store, and then the Chinese beat her. But there has not been that seriousness, government involvement, which we are trying to do, because right now we are mobilizing the artists, we are mobilizing the public, because if there's no business, then the public, if the public doesn't buy, there's no customer. And the people who sell these CDs, our CDs in the streets, for the 10 rand and 5 rand, won't have anybody to buy, and that can help. So we work also with the Department of Community Safety, that can also see that some of our artists don't suffer like the artists that have gone before us.
Professor, what else? We normally think of piracy as only CDs, but what else can we classify as piracy?
Oh, many things. You talk about movies. I remember at some point when Nelson Tata Mandela's movie came out, already 2 days before, and then somebody was very upset and said, this is ridiculous. So piracy, looting, anything that has to do with stealing actually has a very negative impact on us. Right now, as we launch this, we are launching this organization today at Thokoza Auditorium from 9 o'clock. And then there are many artists, I think more than 50 groups who will be there. I can't name all of them, but those artists are artists in the gospel sector, Afro Soul, Pakanga, Maskandi, even choral music, who said, we want to be part of this. And we just want to thank some of those artists and some of the people who have supported Singobani Arts and Cultural Development. People have been going there on volunteer basis. We still don't have a sponsor. We are still trying to get funding, from different people. But those people who have been there, our families. Personally, I would like to thank my family, Mbele, and my in-laws, Mapiri, because as an artist, you depend on those people. When your CD is being sold in the street and you don't get anything.
Let's talk about technology as well, because I think that may be one of the things that when we look at piracy, we only look at physical CDs on the road, somebody selling it at a car, at a traffic light. But there are websites, there are online apps that share music where the artists are not financially recognized. Yes,
definitely. All those things should be addressed. We meet some of us who are in the executive of SADI, we make sure that some of these things are discussed. Even distribution, because you see that some people sell in the streets because they are not distributors, maybe. There are no record stores who want to take the CD from you being an artist unless you come through a record company. So even those things should be addressed. Even the downloading of the music,
especially the illegal downloads.
Yes, illegal, it all has to stop. It all goes to theft.
Professor, let's talk about the launch today. There are over 300 performances. Talk to me about how the event will be structured today.
Yes, at 9 o'clock we are starting at Thokoza Auditorium, which is in Alberton. And, we are inviting people to come. It's free. no charge. We're inviting people to come and be part of this. There will be speeches. We have invited the mayor of Eguruleni. We have invited the National Arts Council, which has been supportive to a lot of artists, including myself at some point. So, you know, they supported us because we are the artists. We are the people who are saying, let's help the artists look at the arts as a career, not just a hobby. And then we have the Department of Arts and Culture, which we have invited, the Department of Trade and Industry. So there will be different speeches and stakeholders. And we're appealing to the public also. We know Otawaza takes only 1,000 people there now. Not everybody will be there, but we are just saying, everybody, please support this. And then we have, for example, I have a brother that is in the music industry, Cosbie Mbele, and there's a time when we're just sponsoring artists to the US, whereby they got exposure. And once they got exposure, they were surprised that, there they got exposure, they were celebrated, these great African musicians like Ladysmith, Black Mambazo. Then they come home, it's like nothing's happened.
Professor, we can talk about this very emotive topic and we can certainly touch base with you again and see how that fight against piracy is going. That was the chairperson of the Singobani Art and Community Development Initiative, Professor Cosbie Mbele, talking to us about the launch of the anti-piracy, counterfeit and stolen goods campaign that will be launched today. Okay, it's a part of our special broadcast, and I don't know if you've